This is a pocket size 8 terabyte NVMe NAS that runs locally on a Raspberry Pi. But here's why this is different from all the Pi NAS tutorials that you have seen online. This one actually has a local Qwen 3.5 latest AI agent baked onto it, which by the way runs completely locally, allowing you to do advanced file search, summarize your files, organize all your data on the NAS, and even more. And yeah, you can access all your data through your MacBook, your Windows laptop, your Android or iPhone from anywhere in the world. An average person here spends anywhere from $10 up to $50 a month behind storage, including myself, where I used to spend money for Google Drive, for OneDrive, for iCloud. But I'm ending all of that with just this. This has 8 terabytes of memory, enough for me to store all my images, my files, and my data locally and sync it with my MacBook and my iPhone completely for free from anywhere in the world. Yes, you are not paying a single penny for any of this. This completely runs locally on just 15 to 20 watts of power on this Raspberry Pi. A quick note, to actually set up your Raspberry Pi, to set up your micro SD card to load the data on, all of that is done step by step in this video that is flashing on the I button and also linked below in the description. So I'm not going to repeat that again to make this video even longer. Please follow that. It's super easy to set a micro SD card up, but once that is ready and you're actually ready to SSH into the Pi, let's continue from there. And basically, to give you an idea in this video, first we will learn how to initialize the NVMe SSD on the Raspberry Pi. Then we'll install Nextcloud. Then we'll install Tailscale. That will basically allow us to SSH from anywhere in the world. Finally, we will basically go through the architecture of the local AI bot that runs on the Pi that lets you do all the smart things with the NAS. And then we'll wrap this video up with future plans to expand this into even bigger projects. Alright, to build this, first you would of course need a Raspberry Pi. In this case, this is a Raspberry Pi 5 8GB version. It's plenty fast, should be perfectly okay for the kind of stuff that you're trying to do. So that's that. Of course, to power this, you would need a power brick. I really recommend you to invest in a decent power brick. This is a 25-watt one. This is what I would recommend. Don't buy the cheap ones. Underpowering a Raspberry Pi does not end up well in a lot of cases, so invest in a good one. Needless to say, you need somewhere to store all of the data. This is a 8 terabyte NVMe M.2 SSD. You certainly don't need that big. I just had this for some other work and I just wanted to test it, so this is that. This is certainly overkill, but it's future proof. 8 terabytes NVMe M.2 is plenty fast. So that's the other thing you would need. Then the most important thing that you would need is an adapter, a hat that sits on the Pi where you can stick your NVMe SSD to. For that, we're using one from Freenove. So I've also used products from Freenove before, for example, such as their display as being shown here. So I really like their product. So Freenove, if you're watching, big shout out. You provide really, this one is pretty cheap. It costs like 15 Canadian dollars. So let's unbox it and see what it comes with. This in theory should support this slot. So I'm actually unboxing this for the first time. So let's see if it does. Okay, so it does come with some standoffs in the bag. It also comes with its own nice screwdriver, which is really good, although I have mine. And most importantly, it also comes with a ribbon connector that you would actually need to get this working. So be really careful with this ribbon connectors. These things can tend to just snap and break, right? So handle that with care. So taking out the Pi NVMe hat. Yeah, this thing was just some $18 Canadian dollars. Yeah, let's actually install this. There you go. So this is how it should look like. And the whole idea is then, yeah, this thing basically just sits on top like that. Alright, so the next step is to, of course, connect the connector here. Again, just like the monitor, the idea is you want to first pull it and then press and pull, right? So that basically brings out the latch. So my idea is I actually want to install this on the top. So for that, of course, I would need to basically create this extended standoffs, which is basically by connecting two. So let's just do that. Please be careful while installing this, and once you fit it, you basically again press both of them at the same time so that it like fixes, right? It's not quite a hat, but this is how it should look. Now bear in mind, if you have a fan module that goes in there, you could totally do that. I don't have for this purpose. I will get one in the future, but by the way, links to everything you need will be in the description down below, so feel free to check it out from there. Once assembled, this is how the hardware should look like. So the hat fits in perfectly. This is how the ribbon connector gets connected here, and you still have your Ethernet port in case you want to connect it to your local router. I will not do that in this case. I'll just make it talk to the Wi-Fi. And then your SD card goes in here. This is where you'll boot the OS for the first time. Again, a detailed video of me doing that should be flashing up here. And I actually did a step-by-step instruction showing how to prepare the SD card and SSH in for the first time. Please consider watching that video so that you get detailed instructions on how to set this up properly, right? All right, so now let's connect this to the power adapter, turn it on, and then let's SSH in for the first time and see how things go. So I have a full guide written on the side, which also will be down linked in the description to my GitHub repo, which gives you all of the steps to do this. But the first step, of course, is to first of all SSH into it, and then we want to change the boot order such that the Raspberry Pi actually boots with the NVMe and not the SSD. So that's fairly simple. I'm just doing that right now. Just give it a while for the process to finish, and after it finishes, you need to do a complete recycle. So once you do the sudo reboot from the Raspberry Pi config, as you saw, basically it'll get disconnected and then it'll try to reboot. But what I want you to do is basically stop the reboot, take the ribbon, take the power cable out, wait for 10 seconds, and then power it back in, and then we'll basically continue with it. Otherwise, this doesn't just give the OS a hard reboot to basically identify the SSD onto it. Once that's done, we can come in and pass the lsblk command to now see that the Raspberry Pi actually detects the NVMe SSDs, which is very important. And then once it does, basically we'll start to unmount the SD card and then completely wipe the SD card out. I purposely run everything as is just to show you that the process will fail. If your NVMe drive is greater than 2 terabytes, this whole process will basically fail. So the rpi clone GitHub repo by Jeff Curling will fail, so we have to come up with a different way to format our SD card. So for that, first I'll copy the boot all the boot information and the file system information onto the SSD first from the SD card, and then basically we have to configure it in such a way that now we can perfectly unmount it and boot it. And then again, we'll do the same step of waiting for 10 seconds. All right, so the SD card is now out of this. Now, in theory, if I should try to SSH in, we should be able to basically see this work. So let's go into the terminal again, try to SSH in and see if this thing works. Of course, this is the scary bit, but the SSH did work. All right, now we're officially ready to install Nextcloud onto your Raspberry Pi SSD, such that now basically this SSD will be easily accessible from anywhere on our Mac or mobile or from anywhere in the world. This is where the magic happens. It's literally an open source version of, let's say, iCloud or Google Drive. That is the main driver for this video. So let's install that, set everything up, install Tailscale, and then I'll show you everything on the terminal step by step. So now that we know that it boots out of the SSD, after removing the SD card, we're ready to install Nextcloud, which is this open source software that basically lets us manage all of the files just like iCloud does or OneDrive does. Once that's installed with Snap, you can basically go into the IP address of your Raspberry Pi with the port, and you should see Nextcloud app. It's fairly easy to set it up. Now I'm actually doing the same thing on my mobile, and it's super easy to do. As you can see, the file just appears. Once Nextcloud is installed, we will basically install Tailscale, which is basically a VPN mesh network that allows you to access your device from everywhere. So you have to authenticate yourself first and add every device to one Gmail account. That's how you can manage everything. Everything is under one account, so that'll help you to basically sync all your devices across your phone. Needless to say, you also have to install Tailscale on your mobile, just as I said, and basically add your mobile to the same Tailscale account which you add your MacBook and the Raspberry Pi. So everything is under one VPN mesh. This allows you to access everything from anywhere. So right now, as you can see, I'm on my device network, not the Wi-Fi, but I can still basically access files. Now I'm just uploading a random PDF onto the NAS just to show the sync is pretty fast. So as you can see, I recently created this folder called iPhone Uploads and basically uploaded that logo PDF, and voila, it comes up nice and clean. So the sync is pretty good, like it's instantaneous almost. It just depends on your upload speeds, and since this is running on the SSD, this thing is blazing fast, right? Repeating the same process, so I'm also installing Nextcloud onto my Mac, and this will basically allow me to sync files completely out of the box, just like you would do on Google Drive or let's say iCloud. So you can actually find the Nextcloud as a part of your files. So you just drag and drop and it automatically syncs. There is an option to add whatever big folder you want, but I just chose a particular folder. All right, now that we have all of this working just fine, the next step is to basically deploy the local Qwen 3.5 model onto the Pi for the smart brain. And that is what we're going to walk step by step in this section. So keep watching. So for this part, I'm actually going with the latest Qwen 3.5 0.8 billion parameter model. They just released it literally a week back. So this is the latest from Qwen. It is really good and fast and great at like agentic work. So the whole idea is, of course, you have your mobile phone and your computer as the the user devices that you can chat with your NAS, right? So this is the mobile phone that you're watching this on, right? And then that basically will talk to a chat UI, which basically we are making with static HTML. Very simple, so it looks like that. Again, everything will be down in the description, so all you have to do is just clone my repo and that's it. That's all. Of course, the NAS needs to have its own brain that not only receives the messages but also passes it to, again, an orchestrator kind of workflow. It's this exact same kind of mentality that I showed you guys when I built my own local AI agent on the Raspberry Pi. Please watch that video because that goes in even more depth. Then, of course, there is Ollama because that's the local brain that's running the Qwen model, and the orchestrator then basically reroutes all your requests depending on what it decides to the Qwen 3.5 model. And not only that, it also needs to have its own like tool chest, right? So it has bunch of functionalities, tools that the orchestrator then gives delegates to different tools depending on what you say, right? So for the tools, you have search files, you have list file properties, you can read your files, you can list one of the recent files, and these are like simple Linux commands that you type anyways, but then you're just packaging it and giving it to your agent to do all of that for you, and all you do is just talk to it in a natural language. You just like send a text that, hey, what is this file about, or can you arrange my files, and it'll do that. So this is exactly what I'm doing here. I can converse with it, and then I can ask, hey, can you tell me about this particular file? Then it will just go ahead and tell me about that. Then I can ask it, hey, do we have more storage? I mean, the options are kind of endless, but bear in mind that this is still a teeny tiny model running locally on a Pi. It's not that capable enough, but I'm just trying to show you guys what's possible. Alright, so if you enjoyed watching the video, please give a like and give a comment down below telling if you have any questions. Again, All of the code shown below will be in my GitHub repo down below, so feel free to use it, clone it. If you have any issues, raise a PR, raise a issue. I'll be happy to resolve all of them with time. My plans moving forward will be to basically integrate this with my local AI agent Jansky, for which the video should also be flashing up there, and basically giving all this ability to Jansky or an OpenClaw or any of those cloud AI models. But I'm also happy to integrate all of those here, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Until then, let's keep building.